LPT Request. What are your best genuinely reasonable and efficient budget meals? I'm going into university soon. And because of how shitty the English student finance situation is, I'm already way over budget. Just looking at rent. My ability to work is limited for personal reasons. Please give me your toppest tips to not starve over the next 3 years. Chili. You can make a pot fast and easy. Lots of beans so it's high protein. I like to fill it with a whole bunch of veggies too that I am sure I'll get lots of crap for, like carrots, cabbage, spinach, peppers, onions, garlic, cherry tomatoes. Really whatever is in season and cheap. You can make it last even longer by eating it with rice. My last batch I used some red Thai curry paste in it and it was awesome. Seeing as I woke up 30 minutes before class, bananas did a good job to keep me full until lunchtime. Eat one right out the door. One after my first class. Beans and rice and beans and rice and beans and rice and. A go-to for me is always either rice with scrambled egg, then soy and sriracha on top, or straight to wok noodles from Aldi Lidl, pan-fried till slightly crispy, then throw in an egg and scramble. For both of these meals it's a really simple base to add salmon, chicken, beef, pork too, but also works wonderfully by itself thanks to the egg. Rotisserie chickens are so reasonable. You can get so many meals out of just one, and then you can boil the carcass and make broth. I got quite a ways in and haven't seen it on a top comment. Potatoes, just whatever with them. But potatoes. Give yourself a break from rice and beans, lol. You can microwave them and have a baked potato in minutes. You can chunk them for potato wedges. Boil them for a stew. Whatever. They're cheap and don't go bad quickly. They're also quite good for you. I eat rice and beans, nuts, high-protein yogurt and discount greens. If not rice and beans, then roasted potatoes and eggs. Hardware. 2 options. 1. Get an instant pot and a decent dal recipe you like. Easy to make rice and tons of other dishes too. You'll feed yourself just fine. 2. Get an air fryer. Kasori is great, makes cheaper meat like chicken thighs really tasty. You can buy a potato and turn it into fries. Roast red peppers. All the good stuff. Soy sauce, chicken and rice. Plan dinners with friends. They chip in to buy food and you do the cooking. Everyone gets to sit around, chat and watch TV, play video games. They go home. You clean up and put leftovers in the fridge. It's a win-win. My go-to cheap meals during university were pasta, instant ramen, cereal, sandwiches, homemade sushi, and pita with hummus. All cheap ingredients that can be thrown together pretty quickly. Sushi required a bit more prep for the rice, but I had friends that were really into it and we'd make sushi together. So they usually got the rice ready and I shared in the expense and cut the rest of the ingredients. And then we made rolls together. Nowadays I make more money and often orders in. But writing this made me want to make my own sushi again. Your school might have a food pantry for students. I know mine does, so look into that. Ramen noodles. Can also add canned frozen veggies, meat into the ramen. Buy a loaf of cheap-ass white bread. A pack of cheap bar hot dogs. The cheapest tuna you can tolerate. Cheap store-brand mayo. You have tuna sandwiches. Hot dogs. Veggie meat ramen for a few bucks. Store-brand Pop-Tarts can go for as little as $1 for 6 pastries too. Buy in bulk, cook in batches, freeze as much as you can. Bone-in chicken quarters. Super cheap. Potatoes, carrots, celery, chopped veggies put in a casserole dish. Put chicken pieces on top. Salt and pepper. Drizzle with olive oil. Bake. Few days of dinners and costs dollars to make. Couscous mixed with a can of beans in tomato sauce. I always look at the markdown items. Like dented cans sold 60 off. Try to look which stores have this kind of stations in them. Sandwiches, hard-boiled egg or an omelette with some spread and a vegetable. 1 pound ground beef, can of tomato sauce, can of mixed vegetables, 1 cup of rice. Pretty cheap. Super filling. A lot of people seem to be posting very time-intensive foods, especially long cooking foods that makes big batches of stuff. While that's all well and good and cheap, I remember not having the patience or foresight to do anything, let alone cook something that takes 3 hours. My suggestion is to learn to fancify quick packaged meals. The simplest thing would be adding an egg to ramen. Then move on to adding chicken to those $1 packets of pasta. And go from there. Carb. Meat. Veggie in a pan. Sauce. Use a rice cooker for carb. Can be an almost endless combo. For instance, sauté onions in olive oil. Add diced chicken and brown. Add frozen spinach. Add rice from rice cooker. Soy sauce on top. Sauté onions in olive oil. Add ground beef and brown. Add frozen broccoli. Add farro from rice cooker. Barbecue sauce on top. You can add or substitute beans or lentils, sweat potatoes or leeks or whatever you want that's inexpensive and available. Very quick. Very cheap. Very nutritious. Endless variations. Leftover popcorn chicken at the deli of any grocery store. It's usually $4, $6. And it's normally 2 meals in one container. I used to make sweet potatoes topped with canned shredded chicken and barbecue sauce in college. If you're not a sweet potato person, you can do normal potatoes. Easy way to cook is stab the potato with a fork around all sides. Microwave 10 minutes. Then split open. Mash the potato and top with shredded chicken mixed barbecue sauce. Chicken pot pies. Frozen veggies. Cream of chicken soup. Some chicken and a Pillsbury pie crust can make 2-4 meals depending on how big of an eater you are. For about $10. Shepherd's pie. Ground beef. Can of corn. 2 potatoes mashed, maybe a little onion. Salt. Pepper. Paprika if you're fancy. Makes great leftovers. I like it with ketchup. I really like kipper snacks. They're such good protein, minimal amount of fat, and they digest really well in my body. I feel healthy for having eaten them. Sometimes I'll just have kippers. Sometimes I'll have them with sardines. My friend was on the Zone diet once and she would have them with a few little blocks of cheddar cheese. That also tastes good. But I was feeling actually too full when I did that. Kippers as a meal. Maybe 2-3 eggs a week. Honestly good. Yes, they smell. But rinsing the container and lid out with hot water and soap takes care of that really easily. Recycle as usual. Beans and rice. Can be spiced up and garnished to taste as budget allows. Stir-fried veggies and rice or noodles. You said English was recently in UK for a few weeks and tried to eat cheap. Co-op was particularly good about discounting mixed ready for stir-fry vegetables. Can add protein if you like pretty cheap in the form of chickpeas. Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter in general. Good at breakfast. Fine for lunch. And can work for dinner in a pinch. Can even be mixed with soy sauce and chili paste for a lazy spicy peanut noodles. Check out for more complex ideas. All the recipes there are broken down by cost. One of our standards is bean soup. 2 cans of black beans and a jar of salsa. With a little yogurt and some chips. Really delicious and easy.